Figure skating is a very overlooked sport. People think that it's very easy to just skate and glide on the ice. And that's honestly the skater's job, is to make it look absolutely effortless. And the person who does that best is Evgenia Medvedeva. She is a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, 2-time European champion, 2-time Grand Prix final champion, and 2-time Russian national champion. Today we will be covering her wins and losses, her moving and switching coaches, and the impact that she has had on the skating world. First, let's talk about her wins and losses in the skating world. She has had some amazing wins in her skating career. She is considered the person to beat because her programs were always so captivating. She has somewhat of an obsession with death and loves to incorporate that in her skating routines. She did a whole routine on 9/11 and getting hit by a train. And she is absolutely consumed with the idea of mortality. Her routines are pretty controversial, and song lyrics were just recently allowed in figure skating routines, and she definitely uses that to her advantage. Let's first get to know the scoring system a little bit better. Each skater is analyzed on several different skills: jumps, spins, footwork, and musical interpretations. This is where her routines are most captivating. She really highlights everything by making a story with her skating. And Russia is very much known for pushing the limits and maximizing the possibilities of the point system by increasing the difficulties. This can be done by including jumps in the second half of a program, which is a 10% bonus, or having one or both arms above the head in a jump. Single skaters have 2 programs, a short program and a free skate. The short program is done first and is required jump and spin elements and a step sequence. A free skate also requires all of those, but is a lot more creative, and it has a lot more creative elements that the skater has to change into a beautiful interpretation of the work music piece. Once both programs are completed, the free skate score and the short program score are added together to get the final score. Now let's look at each win Evgenia has had over the years. In 2013, she won bronze at the Junior Grand Prix final, and then she came back next year to win gold. In 2014, she got bronze in the World Junior Championship, and then next year won gold. She won gold at the Grand Prix final in 2015, and then went back next year to win gold once again. In 2016, she won gold at the European Championship, and then also won gold at the World Championship. In 2017, she got silver in the Tokyo World Team Trophy. In the 2018 European Championship, she won silver. And in the Olympic Games in 2018, she won silver in teams and singles. Then in 2019, she won bronze at the World Championship. So over 7 years, she has gotten 6 gold, 3 silver, and 3 bronze medals. Next, we will cover Evgenia moving and making the dramatic switch of coaches. In 2018, Evgenia was the favorite to win the the Winter Olympics, and she was expected to win by so many people. And she got the world best score of 81.06 in her short program, and then was beaten 10 minutes later by her training partner, Alina Zaivitova. They also share the same coach. Medvedeva no longer seemed so invincible, and Russian skating as a whole no longer seemed that invincible. This was really hard for Evgenia to accept, but it also gave her a lot of determination. In October, in a competition in Moscow, she fell out of a double axel. An axel is considered the hardest jump in skating, but Evgenia is not known to fall out of jumps. She called this a moral weakness, and her reasoning for falling was she let out her joy too early. Most people think this is actually due to an injury in her right foot from a few months prior. She also had an injured back even farther from jumping too much in skating. According to the New York Times, Evgenia is the 3rd high-profile Russian skater to have her career disrupted by an injury or an eating disorder. In November, she competed and won the NHK trophy at the Grand Prix competition in Japan with a broken metatarsal bone in her right foot. After Medvedeva returned from her injury, she went to European Championships in January and finished second to Alina Zagitova. This was her first defeat in the European Championship since November 2015. This was considered her competition, but it is no longer. Now Alina has very much taken over this competition. After this defeat, Evgenia knew something needed to change, so she moved to Toronto, Canada and switched coaches. She left her old coach, Eteri Tutberdais, after the 2018 Olympics, and once she moved, she began to be coached by Brian Orser and Tracy Wilson. In an Instagram Live, she began to explain why she left Russia. She said, "I left Russia not for crazy results, not to come back next season to prove to everybody who I am, because I've done a lot in this sport. I left to feel myself and to work together with a coach like friends." She then went on to talk about Brian Orser and their bond by saying, "I really feel that we hear each other. I left for this, to hear and to be heard." Then she further explained that she didn't think of Orser as a friend, but more on the same level, not a coach and a student. She said, "I totally love jumping. That's why I'm a single skater. But at the same time, especially when I started to do work with Brian and Tracy, I started to love skating. I put my soul into skating and doing performance. Working with this Toronto team has definitely changed her style. In the Rosalcom Cup Grand Prix, this was her best skate, and she still finished second." On September 14th, 2020, Evgenia informed Brian Orser that she would be moving back to Russia. She publicly announced that the next day. Orser said this move was forced due to the pandemic, and said that if COVID wasn't around, Medvedeva would not have left Canada. When she went back, she briefly worked with a new coach, Tatiana Tarasova, and called Brian over FaceTime to have him coach her over FaceTime. Then after a while, she went back to Eteri and resumed her rigorous practice. So what did she do to create such an impact on the skating world? She has set 13 different scoring records. She is the first female skater to pass the 80-point mark in a short program, and the first to pass 160-point mark in the free skating program. She is the first Russian woman to successfully defend her world title several years in a row. The next generation of figure skaters is being trained by Eteri, and all of them know Evgenia and want to be like her. And Evgenia is the person that motivates them. When asked what motivates Evgenia, she responds with, "My fans. So this is the only thing I am competing for. After the Olympics, I was trying to prove to everybody something. But now I'm just looking back and I already proved everything." When asked about her plan for the next 4 years, or her goal for the next 4 years, she said, "I want to show everyone my love for figure skating." In conclusion, today we have discussed Evgenia Medvedeva, the infamous Russian figure skater. We've looked at her wins and losses, her moving and switching coaches, and the impact that she has had on the skating world. Considering the immense amount of pressure that all figure skaters, especially those from Russia, have on them to be the best of the best, it's good to have someone to look up to that was once at the top but is okay with not being the best. Though everybody loves to win, it's important to also love the sport. Thank you.
Yay!